What if happiness were not something you wait to feel, but something you decide, particularly when you don't feel like it? Right from the moment we were born, we learn to react to our world. Smile if life is nice. Weep if it hurts. Rejoice when we win. Grieve when we lose. But along the way, we confuse response with reality. We think that happiness is circumstantial, that joy comes only when things are perfect. But this is a lie. A tempting lie that takes away from us our greatest strength. The truth is this: happiness is not a reward. It is a discipline. It is not the fruit of perfect conditions. It is the seed you plant in the middle of your storm. To be joyful when all is simple is not strength. To laugh when the sun is bright and the birds sing takes no bravery. But to opt for happiness when darkness covers the sky, when the wind is keen and life places all its burdens on your back, that is power. That is mastery. The world will attempt to teach you patience. Wait until the money comes. Wait until they love you. Wait until the pain fades. Wait until things get better. But if you wait for joy, you will wait forever. Because life does not give you peace. It requires you to make it. Every morning, before your feet ever hit the floor, you're faced with a choice. One road asks nothing of you. It's paved with bitterness, filled with lament, lined with resignation. The other is more difficult. It asks more of your heart, more of your will, more of your spirit. But it leads to something extraordinary: mastery over your inner life. Happiness, if selected in adversity, is something else. It is defiance. It is a quiet revolution, a soft-spoken "not today" in the face of hopelessness. But how do I select joy, you wonder, when I don't feel it? You pretend that it is already so. You forge the proof your feelings deny. You talk thanks into silence. You smile through tears. You arrive at your life as if it is still yours, because it is. You offer kindness to others when you are depleted within. You get up again and again until rising feels like a habit. In time, you'll observe what very few do, that happiness is a choice that's not naive. It is not denial. It's an act of radical strength. You are not pretending to be joyful. You are creating it. And gradually, as fire ignites in parched wood, the joy you created will catch on its own. Not because the world around you shifted, but because you did. So don't wait for happiness. Demand it, assert it, experience it, even in suffering. Especially in suffering. That is where the real warriors of joy are created. Bang. It comes unannounced. It doesn't knock, breaks the door. No courtesy, no mercy, no reason. One day, life seems possible and perhaps even lovely. The next, it all comes undone. And we cry out, why? Why now? Why me? But what if you've gotten pain wrong? What if pain is not your foe, but your evolution? You see, fire has not sought permission to purify. It just burns. But we know that gold needs to go through fire to purify. Steel needs to be pounded in order to be made stronger. Seeds need to break open to germinate. Why do we then think that our own growth is going to be effortless? Here is something that most don't want to hear. Pain is the fire where joy is melted. The strongest individuals you know, the ones who have peace in their being, who speak strength into the very rooms they walk into, were not delegated that strength. They were hammered in adversity, twisted by loss, shattered open by failure, ground through betrayal, disappointment, and sorrow. They did not come out of the fire unscathed. They came out changed. Pain remolds you. If you allow it, it will drain the pride out of you. Char everything you thought was real. Shatter the weak places inside of you that were never strong enough to survive. It will leave you naked, and in that nakedness, something precious is formed: clarity. Clarity of what's important, of who you are, of what happiness truly is. Most people think joy is the opposite of pain. It is not. Joy is the product of pain well used. It is the light that follows a choice to not be destroyed. It's what happens when you kneel in the ashes of what used to be and say, "This will not be the end of me." Imagine the blacksmith, striking, sweating, unrelenting. He does not resent the iron for requiring the fire. He understands the process. So why should you resent the trial that's refining you? You are not being shattered. You are being shaped. And yes, it does hurt. It should. It's not meant to be easy. But it is needed. Because the you on the other side of this pain, the one who emerges with greater wisdom, softer confidence, and a rock-solid center, that you cannot be created in ease. So let it burn when life gets hot. Let it burn away the parts that no longer work. Let it lay bare what was always true beneath the noise. The joy that will result, the hard, real, deserved joy, will not be because life got easy. It will be because you allowed the pain to serve a purpose. You will walk through fire. You will bear scars. And you will smile, not despite the pain, but because of what it created in you. Pain is not your punishment. It is your path. Walk it. Emotions are mighty. They surge like tides, crash like waves, and whisper like wind in our darkest, quietest moments. They make us feel alive, but also exposed, uncertain, and usually misled. Yes, misled. Because here is something few want to admit. Your emotions are not facts. They are not always correct. And they are not always on your side. You've been taught to trust your emotions. Listen to your heart, they say. But what happens when your heart is hurting? When your thoughts are cloudy? When sadness wraps itself around your chest like a chain? What then? You cannot let feelings guide your course. Because feelings are reactive. They do not compute. They do not consider long-term benefit. They react instantly, automatically, out of fear, exhaustion, memory, or insecurity. They are authentic, yes, but they are not always factual. So when your heart is wailing that it's impossible, when desperation is urging you to give up, or the fear is telling you you're not enough, you need to stand guard at the entrance of your mind like a warrior. You need to confront the voice and ask, who sent you? What do you want from me? Are you here to shield or to enclose? This is where choice comes in. Because although you can't control how you feel, you can most definitely control what you do with it. And that is where power resides. Happiness needs to be chosen before you feel it. You don't wait to feel good and then act happy. You act happy in order to become it. Smile when you don't feel like smiling. Speak words of thankfulness when your heart is filled with doubt. Walk with intention when every fiber in your body wants to give up. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Every move you make is a declaration. And when you move against the way you feel, when you take hold of strength in the face of weakness, you start rewiring your soul. Joy isn't a result of good fortune. It's the product of spiritual rebellion. It's staring your pain in the face and telling it, you don't get to decide who I am. Imagine the mind as a battlefield. Your emotions are bellowing, passionate soldiers. But your will, your focused, disciplined will, is the general. If the general doesn't lead, the army descends into chaos. But when will takes charge, emotions follow slowly, stubbornly, but surely. Eventually, your heart will catch up with your decisions. The smile you used to fake will become real. The peace you faked will be the reality you live in. Not because the world changed, but because you did. This is not about avoiding your emotions. It's about not having them drive the vehicle. Let them ride with you. Let them talk. But you determine where you go. So when sorrow comes next time, when fear seizes, when doubt besets, make no retreat. Stand up. Speak truth. Act in faith. Let your deeds instruct your feelings who's boss. That's how you take back control. That's how you rewrite your life. That's how you rise, again and again. Resilience is not something that comes to you at birth. It is not inherited through your family lineage. It is not bestowed upon you at birth or given by good fortune. Resilience is a choice. A conscious, obstinate, unspoken choice in the midst of hurt, loss, and exhaustion. You don't learn resilience in books. You learn it in the debris, when life destroys you and you get up nonetheless. There will be those days when the heaviness of your world becomes too much. Days when the air is thick, when your heart weeps with a fatigue that cannot be described. You will glance about and marvel, how do I continue? You will stumble. You will shatter. You will doubt everything. And in that instant, you will be given a choice. Lie down or get up. Quit or go on. Shrink or struggle. Resilience is not never falling. That's a fantasy. Resilience is what you do after the fall. There are plenty of individuals out there who stayed down. Not because they were weak, because they decided to stay down. They let one failure define their identity. One heartbreak lock their heart. One disappointment silence their effort. But you cannot. You have to get up even if your hands are shaking and your knees are bruised. You have to get up even though your faith is weak and your hope is smoking like a candle in a breeze. Because every time you stand up, you condition your soul. Every comeback is a claim, I am not finished. Resilience is do-over. It's the 11th attempt after 10 quits. It's getting up again after life has broken all of you. It's keeping on walking with a limp and a wounded heart. And here's the miracle, resilience builds. The more you practice it, the more powerful it becomes. What devastated you will one day hardly bend you. What immobilized you will one day whisk past you like a breath. You aren't broken because you're exhausted. You aren't weak because you're afraid. You are human. And human beings can perform things of unimaginable strength when they choose to move. Consider the tree during winter. Bitter winds whip its branches. Snow covers its roots. But it does not give up. It grasps. It endures. And eventually the season changes. The sun comes back. The leaves grow once more. In the same way with you. This time you're in the pain, the uncertainty, the weariness, it's not forever. It's a season. And what you do in response will determine your harvest. Let the fall instruct you. Let the pain sharpen you. But don't let it halt your progress. You are not your wounds. You are your will. So plant your feet. Clench your teeth. Stand one step beyond you fall. That is resilience. That is strength. That is how you become unbreakable. A purposeless man is like a rudderless ship, lost, guided by currents he cannot control, going in circles, moving but not really going anywhere. You are not designed to drift. You are designed to drive. Every great life, every legacy worth remembering, was founded upon a foundation of purpose. Not convenience, not luck, not temporary motivation, but definite, blazing, non-negotiable purpose. Without it, your energy dissipates. Your attention wanders. Your days merge into each other like smoke on the breeze. You become restless, distracted, resentful. You reach the end of weeks, months, even years and wonder what you've built, where you've been, who you've become. Purpose remedies this. It gives form to your life. It simplifies your choices. It turns sacrifice into holy work. You have to make a choice to do it, though. No one gives it to you. No one assigns it. You have to create your purpose with clarity and courage. And then you have to commit to it like your life hangs in the balance, because in every way that really matters, it does. Begin by asking yourself, what am I here to create? What do I wake up for? What vision gets me out of bed even when I'm exhausted? Your mission doesn't have to be monumental in the eyes of the world. It doesn't have to become viral. It doesn't have to be comprehensible to others. It simply has to be genuine to you, and powerful enough to ground your spirit when the storms roll in. Once you have that vision, guard it, put it in writing, say it out loud, tattoo it across your soul. Let it thread itself through your every action, from the way you speak to the way you work, from how you respond to setbacks to how you treat the people around you. With purpose, the mundane becomes meaningful. The pain becomes productive. The grind becomes sacred. Imagine a mason placing bricks. To the observer, it appears monotonous, tedious, slow. But for the mason, there is a different perception. He perceives the cathedral emerging, stone by stone. Every action is motivated by vision. Every effort draws the future nearer. That is the purpose's work. It allows you to perceive the cathedral while the others can only see the dust. And yes, there will be those days when doubt rings at your door. Those days when exhaustion murmurs that it isn't worth it. Those days when no one applauds, no one looks, no one has faith. On those days, purpose is your fuel. It is the fire that does not extinguish. So select your path with intention. Then traverse it with discipline. Let others drift. You will drive. Let others wander. You will build. Let others ask, what if? You will say, I will. Because when your purpose is clear, your power is unstoppable. You're not here to pass time. You're here to build something that outlives you. Your mind is holy territory. And most people leave it open like a field. An open field with no guard on the gates, no walls around it, subject to every thought that wanders by, every hurtful voice, every toxic idea that blows in from the outside world. But you have to be different. You have to defend your mind like a fortress. For what enters your mind will ultimately determine your beliefs. And your beliefs control your actions. And what you do makes your fate. You are not a passive recipient of each and every thought that knocks. You are the guardian, the watchman, the supreme ruler of your inner realm. Picture your mind as a castle. At its gates are millions of thoughts. Some weak, some poisoned, some strong, some lying. Some are burglars. Some are contractors. Your task is not to open the gates to them all. Your task is to ask with each thought that comes to the gate, do you serve my vision? Do you build my soul? Are you constructing me or deconstructing me? If the answer is no, it doesn't get in. Most people are trapped in their own minds. Not because they are weak, but because they've given permission to voices that never deserve to be heard. A harsh word from a parent. A rejection from the past. A cruel opinion from a stranger. These things resonate only because you let them resonate. But those are not truth thoughts. Those are history thoughts. And you are not your history, you are what you choose to believe today. So your mind has to be protected every day. Begin your day like a warrior honing a sword. Pick your thoughts before they pick you. Speak strength into the void. Tell yourself, I am not my failure. I'm not my fear. I am what I create. Don't water seeds of doubt. Don't entertain anxiety like a guest. When the wrong thoughts come to visit, meet them head on. Invite them to present their evidence. 9 times out of 10, they won't have any. They just exist because you permit them to stay around. You would not allow a stranger sit at your dinner table and call you names. So why allow a voice in your head to do the same? Condition your mind. Mold it. Nourish it on books, truth, mission. Furnish yourself with words that inspire, thoughts that are in congruence with your values, with beliefs that support your mission. And don't forget, being positive all the time is not what guarding your mind is about. It's about being intentional. It's about refusing to allow fear, envy, anger, and shame to plant themselves and continue growing without a stop. There will be days that your inner world is crazy, turbulent thoughts, rising alarm, whirlwind of emotion. On those days, stop. Breathe. Say out loud, this is not me. This is not forever. I am creating something better. Your mind can be a haven, a place of clarity, courage, and creation. But that does not happen accidentally. It happens because of discipline. Select what comes in. Select what remains. Because when your mind is strong, nothing can control you. Not failure. Not fear. Not the noise of the world. You are not a prisoner of your thoughts. You are their master. Discipline is not sexy. It does not sparkle. It does not scream. It does not receive a standing ovation or make it to YouTube. But don't be confused. Discipline is the master key to everything you desire. Success? Discipline. Confidence? Discipline. Inner peace? Purpose? Transfiguration? Everything is born from discipline. You've been instructed to pursue motivation, to wait for the spark, to depend on inspiration like oxygen. But motivation is a mood. It comes and goes like the tide. It flashes, vanishes without warning. Discipline remains. Discipline does its work when the fire has gone out. It arises at dawn when indulgence whispers sleep. It appears again and again and again, not because it is easy, but because it is essential. You understand, motivation is outside. It's based on how you feel. But discipline is inside. It's a choice, not a feeling. It's not concerned with whether you're tired or not. It doesn't need permission. It moves. It builds. It completes. The disciplined man is not necessarily the most talented or the most gifted, but he's the one who keeps getting there. He's the one who builds when others are waiting to feel ready. Let me be blunt. You won't always feel like doing the work. You won't always be inspired. But your greatness doesn't give a hoot about how you feel. It gives a hoot about what you do. Discipline doesn't need ideal conditions. In fact, it demands resistance. Discipline flourishes in resistance. It is like a muscle that gets stronger each time it's exercised. Each time you do something when it would be simpler to procrastinate. Each time you honor your word to yourself. Every time you do the hard little thing rather than the easy out. You reinforce your identity as someone who gets things done. And that identity? That's everything. Because when you begin to think, I do what I say I will do, you become unstoppable. Imagine a man building bricks toward a bridge no one else can see. The weather changes. The terrain is bumpy. No one applauds. Still he builds. Not for applause, but for arrival. He doesn't need the world to get it. He knows what he's marching toward. That's discipline. It's what narrows the space between who you are and who you want to be. It's what transforms vision to structure, ambition to reality, desire to legacy. So stop waiting. Stop negotiating with your goals. Stop seeking shortcuts. There aren't any. Everything you need is already in you. One decision made over and over. One small move made every day. One principle held like armor. I don't have to feel it in order to do it. When discipline is the building block, you don't hope, you build. You don't pursue comfort, you pursue greatness. And when the world is watching and they wonder, how do you keep going? You'll smile and reply, because I said I would. Struggle. The word alone can make your chest tighten. It brings memories, some recent, some ancient, of pain, resistance, exhaustion. You ask yourself, why this? Why now? Why me? But what if the struggle you're facing isn't a punishment? What if it's a process? What if the pressure in your life right now isn't here to break you, but to build you? Look at nature. The soil must be broken before it can receive seed. The seed has to break before it sprouts. The blaze has to burn for metal to be formed. The darkness has to descend for stars to appear. And you have to be tested before you are changed. We've learned to look at struggle as an indicator of failure, as a red light, a closed door, a reason to give up. But the strongest, most grounded, most resilient individuals didn't come from ease. They were shaped in struggle. They talk of pain in the past not with shame, but with awe, because they understand the fight gave them their edge, their strength, their clarity, their voice. Hardship did not occur to them. It occurred for them. The reality is, struggle brings out what comfort conceals. With ease removed, your true self comes out. Not the curated form, not the public mask. The raw, scarred, resolute you who will not give up. This is where your power resides. It's simple to be strong when nothing is challenging you. But untested strength isn't strength. It's speculation. You grow strong when you're at 3 a.m. wrestling back tears and still get up for the day. You grow strong when everything tells you to stop and you reply with, "Not yet." You grow strong when you bear the burden meant to break you and learn to walk with it. Imagine a blacksmith and the hot metal on his anvil. The hammer comes up, comes down, hits again and again. Not to annihilate, but to polish. The heat required, the force intended. So too with your struggle. You are being honed into something more solid, more resilient, more you. But you have to allow the struggle to educate you. Don't numb it. Don't flee from it. Don't hate it. What is this fire burning away? What is this pain trying to show me? What will I take with me when this is over? And never forget, value lies in every scar. Each one speaks. I was tested, I was pressed, and I survived. You didn't choose this pain, but you can decide what it means. Make others cower under their trials. Make them curse the fire. You will learn from it. You will rise because of it. And someday someone will ask you how you survived. They'll notice your strength, your light, your peace in chaos. And you'll respond, I walked through the fire, and I let it make me. There is an image in your imagination, a future you yearn for, a life that beckons to you in still moments. Are you not yet entirely defined, but actual, strong, and waiting? That image is your vision, and it is holy. Not everyone will notice. Not everyone will get it when you move the way you move, work the way you work, or dream the way you dream. But you need to see it clearly, fiercely, every day, because when life is tough, and it will be, your vision becomes your compass. Without vision, you wander. You're reactive, unfocused, unclear. Days run together. Work tires out. You begin accepting good enough because you've lost sight of what great looks like. But with vision, you become threatening. When you stand firm in your vision, you walk on purpose. You don't beg the world for guidance. You create your own. You don't wait for signs, you make them. You don't require every step to be visible. You rely on the image in your mind to draw you in like gravity. The world will attempt to take it away from you. It will provide distraction, delay, comfort. It will instruct you to be practical, to relax, to scale down. But that's because they don't see what you see. Vision is a faith. It's seeing the cathedral before you are still laying bricks. It's feeling the roar of the crowd before you are still in silence practicing. It's hearing the applause of your future self while the present remains full of struggle. You need to guard it, write it, say it. Close your eyes and live within it until the lines are etched into your soul. Whenever doubt arises, remind yourself, I know what I'm building. Others may mock. They'll say, why work so hard for something you can't even show will be done? You'll smile, because you've already seen it. And what's been seen within must be built without. Let your actions bear witness to your vision. Let your habits sanctify it. Let each decision be weighed by one simple test. Does this lead me closer to the life I see? Vision is not passive. It is not wishful thinking. It takes discipline, sacrifice, courage. Because a dream without work is a ghost. It will haunt you forever. So remain committed to the picture. Let it draw you through the dark seasons. Let it buoy you over fatigue, over failure, over fear. And one day you'll be standing in what you once could only dream. Not because the way was smooth, but because you never let go of what you saw, even when nobody else did believe. And they will ask, how did you do it? And you'll say, I saw it, I believed it, and I built what I could already see. Your will is not a gift. It is not a spark you're born with or a fire that stays lit without effort. Your will is a muscle, and like any muscle, it must be trained daily. You do not wake up strong. You become strong by choosing the hard thing over the easy one, again and again, especially when no one's watching. The most powerful humans in the world, the ones that survive, that thrive, that construct, that never give up, don't possess superhuman willpower. They have developed ordinary courage in the quiet, in the repetition, in the secret. They have developed their will by keeping the smallest commitments. I will wake up. I will see this through. I will persevere. That is how the will develops, not in ease, but in struggle. Each time you arrive when you don't want to, you are constructing. Each time you finish a task when giving up would be simpler, you are constructing. Each time you postpone gratification for expansion, you are constructing. And it isn't about being great. It's about being intentional. Some days you'll come up short. You'll press snooze. You'll miss the exercise. You'll break your promise. But the game isn't played nor lost in an instant. It's won in what comes next. Do you remain down? Or do you get up, recommit, and go on? Will is not never breaking. It's never remaining broken. Picture your will like a knife. It gets dull if it doesn't get used. It gets sharper with every blow. You don't hone a sword once and then hope it remains prepared forever. You keep at it. You discipline it. You carry it near because you know the fight will arrive. And it will. There will be days that resistance is vicious. When your brain protests, when your body hurts, when every reason feels like sense. Those days, you don't want a motivational speech. You need a baseline. A line in the sand. Something inside that intones, we don't quit. We don't fold. We press on. The world will try to get you to compromise. To wait. To turn soft. But if your will is conditioned, you won't budge. You won't act based on feeling. You'll act based on principle. On a choice you made a long time ago that you will see things through. So make your will a non-negotiable. Practice it every day. In the early rise. In the tough conversation. In the extra rep, the cold shower, the dedicated hour of deep work. Develop the habit of action. And your identity will catch up. You will no longer say, I hope I can, and begin saying, this is who I am. Because that is the strength of a trained will. It remakes your life. It is your advantage in a sea of excuses. It is the quiet, unmovable force that propels you through turmoil, through fear, through opposition. And someday someone will ask you how you got to be so disciplined, so consistent, so unstoppable. And you'll reply, I trained for this. Every single day. Whether I wanted to or not.